Adventure Time quickly became one of Cartoon Network's biggest hits, thanks to its action-packed comedy and often optimistic worldviews. But the show also significantly changed over the seasons, with writers introducing prominent mature themes and some strangely dark moments. And today, we're taking a look at the 10 darkest moments that Adventure Time brought us. Starting out, we have the episode titled Red Starved. This episode from Season 5 will remind you of the horror associated with bloodthirsty vampires, and will likely leave you just as terrified of suffocating caves. The episode shows Finn's desperate attempts to find a red object for Marceline, the vampire queen, before she feeds on his friend Jake. While still staying in the scary underground Sand City, Finn continues his search while Jake tries to calm Marceline's hunger. That is, until the creepy vampire lets out an evil laugh, telling him that she can't control herself any longer. As if this wasn't dark enough for younger audiences, the episode goes ahead to show the vampire queen grabbing Princess Bubblegum before biting and draining her. Next up, we have Finn watching his town burn. Another dark Adventure Time moment is from Season 5 when Finn enters an alternate universe where his family and town still exist. In this universe, Jake means nothing more than a pet dog. The scene shows what Finn's life would look like if the mushroom bomb never exploded, or in other words, what his town would look like set on fire. While the local thugs in the Destiny gang cheer "Destiny, Destiny," the rest of the village gets engulfed by flames, including Finn's helpless parents and younger siblings. More surprisingly, Finn watches this disturbing and horrifying sight as his family is gradually reduced to ashes. Although he eventually finds his way out of the unforgettable alternate universe and returns to his actual timeline, it's hard to ignore just how frightening the fire scene was, especially for kids. Moving on, we have Prince Cookie commit suicide. There isn't much darker than someone willingly ending their life with their own hands, and it's not exactly something that you would expect to see on a kids show. This is why viewers were left in shock when Prince Cookie commits suicide in Season 4. After holding the residents of Candy Kingdom hostage, Princess Cookie expresses how deeply upset he is because of Princess Bubblegum making fun of his dreams of becoming a princess. As a result, Jake feels sorry for him and tries to help him escape. However, he becomes extremely disheartened and agrees that he'll never be a princess. To avoid being sent to prison by the Banana Guards, he attempts to kill himself by falling backwards off a cliff, dropping steadily through the air. He survives the fall and is later reassembled at the Candy Kingdom Mental Hospital, but nonetheless, this suicide scene was definitely pretty dark. We can't forget the time when the Earl of Lemongrab eats his clone alive. Next is a wild and very dark scene where the Earl of Lemongrab gets really violent and crazy on his clone, Lemongrab 2. The two identical characters are first shown playing with their son, Lemon Sweets, which is nothing more than a toy doll. Lemongrab and Lemongrab 2 soon find themselves in a heated argument, where one of them wants to put Lemon Sweets to bed while the other one wants it to dance. The Earl of Lemongrab forcefully makes the toy doll dance and even says that they both hate the clone. This angers Lemongrab 2, who tries to snatch the doll away. After some majorly intense fighting, Lemon Sweets breaks into pieces after shattering on the floor. At this point, Lemongrab is more furious than ever and can no longer control the hate he has for his clone. So he chooses to do something that most Adventure Time fans were not expecting. With his fang-like teeth, he jumps on Lemongrab 2 and eats him alive, while the clone continues screaming in agony. Moving on to the episode titled The Creeps. For those who haven't watched Season 3's The Creeps, don't underestimate this episode because its title isn't an exaggeration. The episode follows Finn, Jake, and some other friends attending a dinner with a mysterious host, who later reveals itself as a murderous ghost. The host aims to possess the body of one guest to kill everyone else. Soon enough, the night changes from a masquerade party into a scary whodunit as the guests start getting murdered one by one. From flickering lights to a terrifying skeleton and guests trapped in the house, the scenes in this episode are sufficient to give you some serious nightmares. Next up, we can't forget the scene where the fruit witches eat another witch. As soon as the fruit witches appear in the season 3 episode, Dad's Dungeon, it's obvious that they're up to something sketchy and super creepy. Perhaps Jake sensed this too, which is why he knocks the apple out of Finn's hand when the witches try to make him eat the fruit. Jake feeds it to one of the fruit witches instead, which causes vines to crawl out of her mouth and eyes, wrapping around her and turning her into a giant apple. This clearly confirms that Jake's suspicion was correct, as it turns out the fruit was indeed cursed. But perhaps one of the most disturbing scenes in this episode came afterwards, when the two other fruit witches begin to eat their third companion, devouring her in a mess of creepy bones and apple guts. A really disgusting and dark scene. Moving on to the episode All Your Fault. In this season 5 episode, Finn and Jake find themselves on a mission to help the Earls of Lemongrab. However, it all goes wrong when they discover freaky and terrifying new developments in the Lemon Earldom. Upon their arrival, Jake and Finn come across distorted creatures, the Lemon People, who are so starved that they try eating Finn and Jake, forcing them into Castle Lemongrab. The episode has other disturbing scenes, including conjoined lemon twins twitching in a corner and a giant lemon's organs spread throughout the Lemon Castle. But nothing is scarier than Lemonhead screaming and gradually shedding its own peel. We can't forget the gruesome scene where Stag slowly eats Candy People. There are multiple reasons why Jake calls the stag Freak Deer. For starters, this deer is recognized as the creepiest character from Adventure Time. But what's even more shocking is how he likes to gradually eat away the people of Candy Kingdom by licking them. The stag's orange-colored saliva acts as an adhesive that he uses to capture Candy People. He drags them into the sewers and then sticks them to the walls in a drainage room because he wanted their sugar. In a truly dark moment, he pulls off his hooves to reveal real human-like hands with opposable thumbs, not to mention his ability to walk upright, which he uses for his final showdown. Moving on to the spooky appearance of the Blank-Eyed Girl. Perhaps one of the most spine-chilling Adventure Time episodes is Season 7's Blank-Eyed Girl. The episode shows Jake and Finn coming face to face with a terrifying urban myth on a truly scary night. It all starts with the two friends listening to Starchy's paranormal radio show at the pizza place. All of a sudden, Banana Guard calls to report a sighting of the Blank-Eyed Girl, followed by another call reporting mysterious paranormal girls. This freaks out Jake, who returns home with Finn, but the two soon see the Blank-Eyed Girl for themselves. If one wasn't enough to send chills down their spine, an entire group of Blank-Eyed Girls emerges to haunt everyone in the land of Ooo. As the episode progresses, the theme only gets darker as this frightening species takes complete control over the plot and the viewer's mind. Finally, we conclude with the Mortal Foley. In the Season 2 episode titled Mortal Foley, the Lich accidentally escapes from its amber prison in Princess Bubblegum's castle, after which Finn and Jake must stop it from regaining its full power. Known as the main antagonist of Adventure Time, the Lich is an ancient cosmic being associated with the inevitable death of all things. He also seems to possess an aura of death and rot around him. Besides his deadly evil magic, the Lich also has the power to control people's minds. He is notorious for scheming all his plans of causing massive destruction. In Mortal Foley, the Lich is freed from his prison and out on the loose to regain power and destroy the land of Ooo, making this episode one of the darkest from Adventure Time. But let us know in the comment section below, which Adventure Time moment do you think is the darkest? And let us know what we should cover next. Remember to hit that notification bell and binge more of our videos. But most importantly, stay wicked.